Coming up on today's edition of the Alabama Football Report, injury news on Jase McClellan, a Ryan Williams update again. Alabama has added 2 players from the transfer portal, one big-time name, one intriguing name as well. And we'll discuss the possibility of adding cornerback Denver Harris, who is again in the transfer portal. Now, we will be live New Year's Day for the college football playoff semifinal match between Alabama and Michigan in the Rose Bowl. If you're going to tune in, have some fun with us for the game, type me in the comments section. Let's get into the injury updates here. Good news on Jase McClellan, as mostly expected. Sounds like he's going to be able to go. Nick Saban saying McClellan has progressed well from his foot injury and should play in the CFP semifinal. Here's what Saban said specifically on the McClellan injury. Jake's doing great. He practiced yesterday and today. He looks good. We gave him a lot of time off to try to heal his foot, and it seems like it's paid off. Barring some setback in the way he's practiced, I don't see why he couldn't play in the game. So good news on that front, and some more good news here, as it certainly sounds like Ryan Williams is indeed locked in to Alabama, despite plenty of hopes from the Auburn fan base to add another 5-star receiver, which is great, although they don't have a quarterback still, so who knows how far that will take them. Williams arrived in Orlando on Friday for the Under Armour All-America game, which used to be a lot more impactful. I used to have all these commitments that day, and now it's just not the same because you have the early Sunday period, which makes sense, but there's always downsides to whatever you end up doing there, by the way. Here's what Ryan said. Definitely just being sure of where home is. This is a lifetime decision. This could make or break my career. I'm 100% locked in. Like Jalen Mbakwe said, roll tide, baby. I will make note, Mbakwe is also guaranteed that Ryan Williams will go to Alabama. So he's making sure his buddy, or former rival now buddy, finds a way to end up with the Crimson Tide. Here are the official visits that are still coming up for Ryan Williams. He's at Alabama from January 20th to the 22nd. Texas a week later, followed up by Auburn. He will then sign officially on his birthday, February 9th, 2024. Remember, he is a reclassification player. He was supposed to be in the 2025 class, going to enroll early for the class of 2024. So does Ryan Williams end up signing with Alabama? It is today's pinned comment, so if that ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it, head down there, and let us know. Why for yes and for no? I feel pretty good saying why for yes, but I want to hear from you guys anyway. So if the ad comes on YouTube, take advantage, go vote at the pinned comment. All right, let's talk transfer portal. A wild couple of days here while we had our holiday time off, since we got football games today and tomorrow and Monday to cover. Domani Jackson, thank God we got the Thursday video out before we did, because he committed just a few hours later. He is committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. That is a significant, and I would actually argue, maybe one of the biggest transfer portal gets non-quarterback related in this year's cycle, since we know how valuable quarterbacks tend to be. Jackson attended Bama's practice on Thursday. It's always very strange, the bowl practices. You get to have guys that aren't on your team there. It is what it is. Even just visiting or recruit side, like doing stuff. He committed then hours later. So Bama gets the initial victory over Michigan. It was those 2 teams that were clearly in the mix for the USC transfer, as the Trojans' defense the past 2 years has not been good. It is very tough for me to say, yes, well, Domani Jackson's numbers, they don't look great. They really don't. 2023, a bunch of yards allowed, no interceptions, 2 pass breakups. You want to be under 60% completion rate, even 50% or lower at the top-tier collegiate level. But the expectations are changing now for Jackson. Former 5-star recruit, coveted by every college football program, now gets to go to a head coach whose specialty is not quarterbacks, it's cornerbacks and Nick Saban. And the expectations, make no mistake, are going to be sky high. And I think if Alabama and Jackson get their way, this is a 1-year trip. Comes in for a year, goes pro, is the next in a very long line of top 50 Alabama defensive draft picks. They needed help because you're going to lose Terrion Arnold, you're going to lose Kool-Aid McKinstry, you're going to lose Malachi Moore, you're going to have one returning player that's been a starter. Trey Amos has played enough that I think you can trust him opposite Domani Jackson, but you needed another impact guy. I think that was the pitch from Nick Saban, by the way. They got him in Jackson. Now, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. It's daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 6 player stat projections, more than, less than, whatever their numbers are. Maybe it's more than passing yards, more than rushing yards, under that, whatever. I like the flex play. You don't get as much if it hits, but you also only have to get 2 out of 3 rights. So here are my Rose Bowl CFP semifinal prize picks. Jalen Milroe, more than passing yards. Roman Wilson, who I think maybe we see some lined up in the slot. I wonder if they're going to kick in Tyrion Arnold there. Should be a fun matchup to watch. I think he gets 1 chunk play against his Bama secondary. I'll go more than 39.5 receiving yards. He's their best playmaker, by the way. Jalen Milroe, more than rushing yards as well. One more time, folks, it's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's stick in the transfer portal here as Alabama landed another commitment. It's Texas A&M offensive tackle Naquil Betrand, which this has been a very unusual story because Betrand announced it on social media that he had gotten an offer from Alabama. Nobody really confirmed that from either side for 48-ish hours. Then in a 24-ish hour period, it went from he's going to visit to he's committed. So very unusual timeline. And my operating theory here is this. There's a dearth of offensive linemen in the transfer portal. So a former 3-star recruit that Bama didn't even offer played 0 snaps at A&M. He wasn't even really on the team. He was kind of in a redshirt year, basically enrolled late in August. Now gets to go to Alabama because there's just a lack of talent out there at the moment. Here's what Betrand said on his Alabama commitment. They said they see a raw talent, but also a talent who can come in and work every day. I bring to the table a physical trait. I bring a dog in me. Also, they see me as a pass blocker at tackle. A bunch of tackles are not supposed to move this fast and this big. It's just a blessing. I am surprised by this one, given the star rankings, whatever. I think this is a depth move. And you can think about what Bama did in their recruiting class this year. They didn't really get that many tackle options. They had some last year. I wouldn't be surprised if you lost 1 or 2 to the portal as well once the CFP semifinals wrap up. I don't think Betrand's a starter, at least not in year 1. Maybe down the road we'll see how the development goes. I mean, who really saw Jaden Roberts emerging this year as your clear-cut second-best guard this season? You normally see Bama go after portal guys who will start, although I think you're starting to see Bama make some adjustments there. Trey Amos this year was mostly a backup. Tyler Buckner was in competition to start, didn't work out, is now going to go play lacrosse at Notre Dame. Jalen Key emerged as a starter as well. I do think there is a untapped, maybe not untapped, but underutilized market for, and then you see it was with quarterbacks too. We need a number 3 offensive lineman. We need a number 4 lineman, we need a number 2 quarterback, whatever. Everyone wants to start, understandably so. But if you're willing to take that more backup path, you could upgrade your standing and maybe get a chance to play, and now your entire career looks different. Again, I don't see Betrand, who again is basically treat him as a freshman. I think is the best way to go about it. He's got 4 years of eligibility left, by the way. I don't see him stepping in immediately. Could be wrong. Certainly would not be the first time on that front either. I think this is just another. You didn't get who was the lineman in the portal you wanted to, or not in the portal, the recruiting class you wanted to get that went to Auburn. Drawing a blank on his name. You didn't get the tackle you wanted. I think this is your replacement. It's a 3-star recruit in the class of 2023. Was not offered by Alabama into the top 800 from Pennsylvania, number 55 overall. I think this is just a extension, basically, of your recruiting class. You should get some help along the offensive line. So where will he play in 2024? S for Betrand will be a starter. B for he will be a backup. Sound off in the comments section right now. Let's talk Denver Harris. The cornerback, A&M to LSU, was a key target by Alabama back in the class of 2022. Remember, it's a 5-star former player. 23rd overall, the number 4 corner, number 6 from the state of Texas, a recruit that, again, most of the country wanted. The problem here with Denver Harris, and I'll try to say this diplomatically, is a kid. He's not mature. That has been made very clear with the off-the-field stuff he's run into, team rules violations at A&M, at LSU, he was barely playing, just issues he's had. He's on chance number 3, entering year 3. It's not normally a good thing. He's barely played at A&M and barely played at LSU. And the numbers actually look decent, except, when he gets beat, he tends to get beat for a big play, a touchdown, etc. All of those things can raise some concerns. This is, whenever a former 5-star goes in the portal, even these days, it's noteworthy, it's worth discussing. It's not the player, it's the person, which is normally more of a thing we say for the NFL draft. I think it matters in this context, though, for the portal. So should Bama pursue Denver Harris at another corner in the transfer portal? T, if you want him to go out and you want to get him, you want him to transfer to Bama, or P, for you to rather pass?